In the heart of every dark tale lies a lesson, and the legend of the Headless Bride is no exception. It is a story whispered among the elders, a cautionary tale of deception, greed, and the consequences that follow. It begins with a man named Adigun, whose charm was his gift and curse. Adigun was a man who lived by his wits and his looks. With a smile that could melt the coldest of hearts, he had mastered the art of winning over wealthy women. But his intentions were far from noble. Adigun's sole purpose in life was to live off the riches of others, using his charm to secure a life of luxury without lifting a finger. He was a man of many talents, none involving honest work. Instead, he relied on the affection of women who were drawn to his good looks and smooth words. For Adigun, love was just another tool in his arsenal, a means to an end. His life was a carefully crafted performance, with each woman playing a part in his grand scheme. Behind every successful man, they say, is a supportive figure. For Adigun, that figure was his mother, Adigun. She was a woman who believed in taking what life offered, even if it meant using others to get ahead. "Life is sweet when you take money from fools," she often told her son. Adigun was not just a passive observer, she was an active participant in her son's schemes. She encouraged him to pursue wealthier women, to aim higher and never settle. Together, they enjoyed the fruits of Adigun's deceitful labor, living a life of luxury that was entirely funded by others. Adigun's life was a well-oiled machine. He kept a love timetable, ensuring that each of his wealthy admirers received just enough attention to keep them hooked. Each day was dedicated to a different woman, and every interaction was calculated to maintain his lavish lifestyle. Adigun's charm was his currency, and he spent it wisely. One day, Adigun heard about a new shopping mall in town called Ootikotan, which translates to wealth that never ends. This luxurious mall was the latest hotspot for the city's elite, a place where the richest of the rich gathered to shop. To Adigun, it was a goldmine waiting to be explored. Excited by the prospect of finding new wealthy targets, Adigun prepared himself meticulously. He knew that the right opportunity could set him up for life, and he wasn't going to let it slip away. When Adigun finally visited the mall, he was on the lookout for his next conquest. It wasn't long before his eyes settled on a woman who seemed to embody wealth and elegance. Her name was Arike, meaning someone to pamper, and she was everything Adigun could have hoped for. Arike was beautiful, with an air of sophistication that suggested she was well acquainted with luxury. Adigun wasted no time in striking up a conversation, using his well-practiced charm to win her over. Within minutes, he had her laughing and intrigued by his presence. They exchanged contact information, and Adigun left the mall feeling triumphant. Over the next few weeks, Adigun and Arike grew closer. They talked daily, and Adigun made sure to say all the right things. Arike shared stories of her life, including the tragic loss of her parents and the immense wealth they had left her. To Adigun, she was the perfect target, a young, wealthy woman who seemed to be falling for his charms. He played his role perfectly, showering her with attention and gifts, all the while calculating how to secure a more permanent place in her life and her fortune. When Arike invited Adigun to her home on Ikoyi Island, he was taken aback by the sheer opulence of the place. The mansion was a testament to her wealth, with every corner exuding luxury. As they spent the day together, Adigun's mind raced with possibilities. This was more than he had ever dreamed of. Arike was the ideal partner, rich, beautiful, and seemingly in love with him. Adigun knew that he needed to take their relationship to the next level, and soon. Adigun's plan was simple: marry Arike, gain her trust, and eventually control her wealth. He shared his intentions with Adigun, who fully supported the idea. "This is the opportunity of a lifetime," she told him. "Marry her, and everything she has will be yours." Though Adigun had no real feelings for Arike, the prospect of living a life of unbridled wealth was too tempting to pass up. He began to lay the groundwork for his proposal, showering Arike with even more attention and affection. To solidify their relationship, Adigun insisted on meeting Arike's family. She agreed and took him to visit her father's younger brother, Baba Agbeke. Baba Agbeke was warm and welcoming, expressing his delight that Arike had found someone she cared about. The visit went smoothly, though Adigun couldn't help but notice the peculiar names in Arike's family. Agbeke, which meant to pet or pamper was yet another name that seemed strange, but Adigun dismissed it. He was too focused on the prize to be bothered by oddities. 4 months later, Adigun and Arike were married in a grand ceremony. The event was a spectacle of wealth and luxury, with everything from the flowers to the food screaming opulence. Adigun was on top of the world, convinced that he had finally secured his future. But as the celebration continued, Arike took the microphone and announced that she wanted to thank someone special. Adigun smiled, assuming she was about to praise him. Instead, she thanked someone named Yemio-kun, whose name meant one who lends heads. Adigun's smile faltered, unsure of what Arike meant. The guests, however, seemed unfazed, even amused. Before he could ask any questions, Arike began twisting her neck in a way that defied explanation. Adigun watched in horror as Arike's head began to twist in ways that seemed impossible. She calmly removed her head and handed it to a young woman who stepped forward from the crowd. The woman, who Arike had called Yemio-kun, accepted the head with a smile. Adigun was frozen in place, his mind struggling to comprehend what he was seeing. The beautiful woman he thought he knew had just revealed something otherworldly, something that shattered his reality. As if on cue, the guests around him began to change. Their features twisted and morphed, revealing forms that were anything but human. Some had elongated limbs, others had features that resembled animals, and all of them looked at Adigun with knowing smiles. The opulent wedding hall seemed to close in around him, the once grand setting now feeling suffocating and strange. Adigun realized that he was surrounded by beings who were far beyond his understanding. Arik, or whatever she was, stepped forward, her voice calm and steady. "Did you think you could deceive me so easily, Adigun?" she asked, her tone dripping with irony. "We've been watching you, studying you, and now it's time for you to face the consequences of your actions." Adigun's heart pounded in his chest as the reality of his situation sank in. He had been so focused on his greed, so consumed by his desire for wealth, that he had walked straight into a trap. "My full name is Kolawole," Arika revealed, which means one who brings wealth. But not the kind you were hoping for, Adigun. We are guardians of a different kind of wealth, one that teaches lessons to those who seek to deceive and exploit others. She gestured toward Baba Agbeke, who had now taken on a more ominous appearance. "And my uncle here, his name truly reflects who he is, someone who does not need to be pampered. We are not of your world, Adigun. We are here to correct the wrongs committed by people like you." Adigun felt his knees go weak as the full weight of his situation bore down on him. There was no escape from this. His greed and deceit had led him into the hands of beings far more powerful and unforgiving than he could have ever imagined. But instead of physical harm, the punishment was deeper, a curse that would follow him, a mark of his greed and deceit for all to see. The opulent hall began to fade, revealing a desolate landscape, a reflection of Adigun's inner emptiness and the hollowness of his pursuits. Adigun's mind filled with the voices of the supernatural beings around him, all speaking of his wrongdoings and the consequences of his choices. This was not just about losing wealth, it was about losing his very essence, his identity as he knew it. And so, the story of Adigun and the Headless Bride became a tale told in whispers, a warning to those who seek to gain through deceit and manipulation. It was a reminder that not all wealth is worth pursuing, and that some paths lead only to despair.